and we are live on Space Nights. We got who Stephen claimed is the best actor of all time as the guest, Julian Bright, but I am
Yo.
Austin Heffernan. I am controlling the Space Nights account, and yeah, I will pass it to Stephen. Stephen, how are you tonight?
Doing bad, doing bad.
Why?
Just Sam. Just always Sam.
Do you
Oh,
need another hug, man? Do you need a hug?
You know, some people could hug me, but they don't want to.
What did I get myself into?
yeah.
Welcome.
We got. We'll introduce Sam first. Sam, how are you? Sam DeVal. Oh, hey,
I'm doing-
Fritz on Twitter.
I'm doing great. Just happy to be here as always.
Yeah, and the man of the hour who dropped a viral video schedule release, him and the content team, is you may know him. It's Julian Bright.
Yo, I do want to say the brainchild behind that video is Spencer Rubin.
Yep.
He's fairly new to UCF, definitely new to UCF Twitter. But that video was definitely, he was the mastermind behind all of that. Filmed, edited. It was even, I mean, it was a collaborative writing process, but like even down to the concept was all him.
Well, he slid a follow to the Space Knights account. I messaged him from the Space Knights account. Would love to get Spencer in here at some point tonight. He's obviously, to me, been a great addition to the team. It sounds like the team would agree, including Julian, who's here. You mentioned he had the brainchild. Now, when I told my wife, hey, UCF dropped an incredible schedule release video, she's like, was it like the softball one? Which it kind of was. Let's rewind a bit. I guess that's when Spencer first got here. Like, let's talk about all the schedule release videos, including going back to softball up till now. Like, working on those. What's that been like behind the scenes, kind of coming up with these crazy meme ideas?
So I don't know the origin of like true schedule releases, but I feel like not even as long as like 5 years ago, like schedule release, anything outside of just posting a schedule was not the norm. There was nothing creative, and then NFL kind of 1 year just kind of started where a couple teams made a creative video, and then that was kind of the norm, and it just like everything kind of trickled down into college athletics, and that really is the norm now. Like a schedule drops and you're kind of missing out if you're not making something creative to put it out there. So I know we try to do something for every sport around here outside of like just an ordinary graphic, and the planning process can range from thousands of things. I mean, you can have an idea written down for months for something. And I don't know the origins of the softball video. I know football. Spencer and I were just sitting down and we were just like writing out a couple ideas of ways we could announce the video. And he's really good at those office style videos. He did that at Mississippi State, which is where he was last, and he brought that concept to the table here, and then we kind of rolled with that. And I know Steven said I was a good actor, but it was kind of insane how great everybody was at acting. Like everybody in the video is just someone who works at UCF, and you watch the video, there's nobody in there that is a bad actor. It is honestly shocking. Like I've worked with Connor for 3, maybe 4 years. I'm with him every day. I did not know he had acting in his bag. I told him the line he was going to say in the boardroom scene about the Rube Goldberg machine. And he's like, all right. And then when he did his first line, I remember just staring at him like, what just happened? That was incredible. And that's kind of how it went with everybody, honestly. Some great performances all around.
I mean, Alex Clough gave you a big run for your money with
Clough
his
was,
Cycle and Larry bit.
yep, Clough was great. That was awesome. And I think that is really what took off the video, because I know when we were done filming and stuff, I was skeptical if it would really take off outside of UCF because a lot of the jokes were like pretty niche to our fan base, which is awesome and what we do most of the times. Um, but I think that the Cyclone Larry part really kind of had it take off like within college football circles, which was really cool to see. That was great.
It was. I will say it was a brilliant touch. When I first saw that video, I bursted out laughing as soon as Cyclone Larry was mentioned. That was really good.
I guess my question is what probably other people are thinking. Did we get the real Cyclone Larry on the phone, or did we get someone that probably would sound like him if he had ever spoken before?
Clough he said he had someone's number. He said it was Cyclone Larry. He called, and that's all I know. I mean, I know Cyclone Larry is pretty anonymous. I don't want to reveal anything other than that, but I guess you guys will have to use your best judgment there.
This is giving the Palm Fronds legend vibes. Like, we don't really know how it started, but we just got to believe what we truly believe. Spencer, thank you for joining us in the booth here tonight. You got your boy Julian, and he keeps giving you the praise. I'm sure you'd be doing the same for Julian for executing on this video. I remember when Spencer got hired, I think Eric mentioned that this guy Spencer's big into drone videos. And I noticed that we've been stepping up our game on the drone videos, particularly one that I could think of as the lights up, lights down drone video showing the stadium. I'm sure, Spencer, were you part of that? By the way, welcome to Space Nights.
Thanks, guys. So I am a big drone guy. My background's in aviation, and then I somehow got into college athletics. But that was actually Mark Godin. So as Julian's kind of expressed, it's a huge team effort here. A lot of people doing a lot of different things, including Julian. And yes, I will praise him for this video that went out this morning. It was a complete collaborative effort. But no, on the drone thing, yeah, that's Mark Godin. He does Godin, whatever way you want to say it, but he does some drone stuff.
Captain Godin.
Captain Godin. He does some stuff as well with the drone, but yeah, definitely trying to get the drone more introduced to UCF since I've been here.
What? All right, I would love to hear how Gus got involved in the video. Who approached him? How did how did that person approach him? And what was his reaction to being asked to be in this video?
Yeah, so we obviously worked with Eric on this. Eric, I'll give you credit here. He was the one who came up with the Cyclone Larry 69 reference, which we highly appreciate. As you can expect, that was Eric. But Eric works closely with Gus, and we just approached him when we knew it was a slower day. And there's really no slow days, but a slower day for him. And we let Eric take it away. We told Gus what his line was. We explained what it was for, and he crushed it. That take was a single take. So
Really?
yeah, absolutely crushed it. Maybe he could be an actor too, but definitely appreciate Eric and Gus for that one.
Going back to the Cyclone Larry part, I remember like Spencer and I were just sitting there. We're kind of writing out all the lines for each opponent, and Eric comes in and we're telling him the script. Like we're kind of getting his input here, and I'm just like, Eric, I don't know anything about Iowa State. Like I truly have no idea what to put here. And he's like, "Oh, Cyclone Larry 69." And I mean, I probably knew who he was. Like he's probably on my timeline, but didn't really know who he was. But I just heard that and I was like, I mean, that sounds pretty out of left field. I'm down. Let's go with that right there. And yeah, like I said earlier, that kind of transcended the video. It was really cool. And shout out Gus too. We played the video to like a large team of our staff on Monday. And it's always cool to kind of see like an audience reaction because obviously like we work closely with the video. We're gonna find it funny and like enjoy it. But to see people that like weren't a part of it watch it. And when Coach had his line at the end, like the whole room erupted. And like at that moment I was like, man, this video really is gonna hit. Like that part was awesome.
I mean, I think it's funny. It's our second year in the Big 12, and like everybody, it feels like a unanimous kind of consensus opinion that this is the best schedule release out of anybody today. Did the fact that Big 12 kind of shuffled their feet and moving slow help at all? I feel like that's got to be somewhat of an advantage for a team that loves to be creative and loves to, take time to put in a good effort for something like this.
I definitely think a little bit. It was nice that I think we were the last conference to announce, and I know like coming out of the bowl game, like I was under the impression that the schedule would be pretty early in January. So I'm just thinking like, man, we're gonna get back and we're gonna get the ball rolling like real quick on this. But I also kind of lived under the impression that it was coming any day for like the entire month of January. So we were kind of ready for whenever it hit. What most people don't realize is like that video is obviously like satirical and super extra, but especially my part. But a lot of that is true to schedule releases. Like we don't know the schedule until like right before the video comes out, really. Like we filmed that the week before we even had the schedule. We film it out of order, and then we're like, all right, once the schedule hits, like we'll have to shuffle some things around. um like I started making graphics, but obviously like all of the times and dates were subject to change, and like in the back of my mind I knew that like I was going to make a cool graphic and then it wouldn't matter because that game would be the space game, and then I would have to like completely change where we were going with that. But when we were like ideating the process, we obviously came up with something that we wouldn't have to be locked in knowing the schedule in order to film it. And luckily with that,
Yep.
like we could film it in whatever order. Like a more challenging one was the Simpsons video, where it's like I can't write a script to a schedule I don't have. So that one was like, all right, once we get the schedule, I've got one day to make this, and then and then we're going.
Yeah, no, people were saying we're running laps around the Big 12, that our number 2 option was better than everybody else's number 1 option. Julian, you were in the booth with that. Can you do the Homer Simpson voice tonight, or was that electronically, digitally kind of altered?
I think Eric just tweeted that 1,000 likes on that video and the behind the scenes will get dropped. So I will not give you guys my Homer Simpson
What?
impression just yet, but if that video does hit 1,000, you guys will
Y'all,
unfortunately have to see how that video was made, which I'm dreading being
y'all know
released.
what to do.
I'm
Go
not.
like that. Go retweet that. Y'all know what to do.
Julian is no longer selling it to the highest bidder.
I will buy likes.
I'm looking for it right now. That's why I'm quiet. I'm trying to get up. There it is. All right. Throwing at the
Yeah,
top of the space.
I got a question, Julian. With the Simpson, I mean, you guys dropped that second video. My question was, did you guys just have like two great ideas and just said, you know what, we're gonna do both of them and see what happens?
The plan was to do one video always, and like we came up with the office thing, and that was the video. And then I was talking about this today. Like I think I was just scrolling Twitter one day and just saw something that gave me that idea, and I just like briefly started it to see if it could work. And I just became so obsessed with that Simpsons idea that I was like, I'm just gonna make it, and we'll just have two, I guess. Um, which, which is wild. There's definitely no team that did that or should do that even. But I was just having fun with that video. I think I saw someone reply like, "Man, these guys are just having fun," which was true for that video. That was truly just like a passion project for me. And like the Office video was always the video, and I was like, I'm just gonna make this and see where it goes. If it comes out good, we'll let it go out there. But if not, I'll save the idea for some future content that's not schedule release related down the line.
It props it it paid off. That video did pay off.
Was the inspiration the Stick season, like Homer Simpson cover? Because I've seen that video way too many times.
I feel like the inspiration might spoil the behind the scenes a little bit, but
I feel like it had to do a little bit with the
I
Bart
don't
versus
know what
Onion.
Stick season is though, so I will say that it definitely wasn't.
Okay, so it's a song that like I've seen like videos of Homer Simpson covering.
I didn't even
Great
get the
song.
idea from anything Simpsons related, and I don't even know why I chose Homer, but I chose Homer Simpson maybe because I just do a killer Homer impression. remains to be seen. But once I had Homer as the idea, and then like a couple days later, I was like, man, this actually works perfect because the Simpsons are always getting posted online for like predicting things. So I was like, I can just frame this around like, oh, they predicted the schedule. And I think it hits way harder that way compared to like if I did a Family Guy or something like that.
Man, I mean, that was
Can
a
you at least give us
surprise.
a dough?
Oh,
Oh,
Wait,
much better than mine.
Julian, considering you didn't choose Family Guy, does that mean you have some Family Guy impersonations in the back pocket too?
no, I just do Homer. I can do Marge a little bit, and then basically any SpongeBob character I'm pretty good at, but no Family Guy.
We definitely need some more impression videos, and since it's parody, it's fair use. So I was actually being serious when I asked, can we get this song on streaming on music platforms like Apple Music and Spotify? I mean, let's keep breaking down doors. Let's be the first college athletics program to take parody songs and actually get them in circulation and streaming. I mean,
I think I heard it's actually going to replace Frankie Valli, so I don't know. We'll have to see.
half of UCF Night Nation just rejoiced with that.
I'll allow it.
No, but that song does not belong on Spotify. As someone who's listened to it like way too many times, that is a social piece. Nobody should ever play that in their car or anything other than just a good laugh on Twitter.
So I have a question. Since we have the content team here, a couple of y'all. Jimmy Skiles was the one who recorded the video that everyone was doing the horns down for the Texas versus UCF basketball game thing. It made me wonder, like, who goes on these trips? Do y'all, like, now that the schedule's out, like, start coordinating, hey, I'll go to this game, hey, I'll go to this game? Or, like, how does that work in determining who goes to what?
Yeah, I can take that. Essentially, we have quite a few people that go on every trip. For example, like I am a primary football videographer, but we travel 3 videographers on average to every football game, and that doesn't include Eric as well as Julian, who are both handling social stuff, but also could be capturing video content. And then we also send Connor Kavadik as well as our photographer. So there's quite a few people that go on these trips. It's usually set ahead of time, and we coordinate with the football program to let them know, hey, these are the names that will be traveling. Also, getting info from them in terms of how many seats that they have on these trips. But the court, it's kind of an assumed process, but definitely ahead of season, we say, okay, this is our set group going, our regular group going, and then if there's an audible that needs to be called, we'll call an audible here and there.
Do y'all know which games you guys are going to on the road this year, or is it too early?
Julian and I should be on every single one, but that's pretty common. Just because we generally try to travel somebody with football every single game.
Now, obviously, you probably know where I'm going with this. Is there a ranking in your head that you, Spencer and Julian, that you've started concocting? Okay, Morgantown, or where else are we going? Let me look at the schedule. I'm so infatuated with the video. I'm like, where are we going? I know we're on the road.
Gainesville,
Arizona State. Yep.
Yeah, Arizona State. Fort Worth is one
Yep.
of them.
TCU.
UF is pretty obvious. It's definitely what I'm the most excited for. Just
Why is that obvious?
Well, I mean, playing Florida is cool. Like that's where my brother went. Like that game is going to be lots of fun. It's also close. Like it basically a home game. Like not as far as fans go, but like it's just an easier trip for all of us. So I'm super excited for that one. From a social perspective, like TCU is really fun. I know like we do a lot of like those kind of meme videos, and a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are copying the Bills and stuff. But like if there's really anybody that I could say quote unquote copy, like TCU, I feel like broke the mold with that with college football. And just playing them will be really fun. That's a game that I will figuratively get up for as if I'm an athlete when really I'm just typing things on Twitter. But yeah, that'll be fun. Arizona has been a bucket list destination for me, even though going on a football trip doesn't really count. Like I have friends that it would be like, how is this city? And it's like you don't really get to experience these places outside of the football game itself, but all the places I've never been, which is essentially all of them.
Have you, I guess you haven't definitely in a working capacity, but have you been to the swamp, Julian?
I have. Um, my brother went there, and I went to like his freshman year like parents' weekend game. But honestly, like I don't remember any of that game whatsoever. I wasn't like huge into college football then, and I remember it was cool. Couldn't tell you who they played or if they won.
And now you'll be front and center all over the field and throughout that stadium. I mean, it's pretty iconic. So I was like, wait, is he a Gator fan? No, he just excited about it's almost like a rivalry that we're forming with Florida since we played them in 2021. And I love the part of the video where he said, hey, you guys should come by our place sometime. Like, like they've never played us at our house. Like, so funny. But Spencer, what about you? I know that you previously worked at Mississippi State. Any college atmospheres, any road environments that you'll be attending that you kind of have ranked number one as you make your way through the season?
Yeah, I would say when I was at Mississippi State, the SEC environments are absolutely insane. And I was sitting there thinking, like, there's no way these will be beaten. We played down in Baton Rouge, which was an unbelievable experience. But
Sheesh.
I will say last year, all the Big 12 road games we went on, even, non-conference at Boise State, were just like awesome places. There's very good people. You see that too when they travel down, when we had teams traveling down and their fan bases travel down, just really good people in the Big 12, I think. But I don't know if there's anyone that specifically stands out to me next year. Tempe's really cool for Arizona State. I've got a buddy who works at West Virginia, so Morgantown should be cool. Um, but I don't know, I'm just looking forward to seeing some more of these towns, especially the newcomers in the league.
And Steven, since we got you here, Mr. Knights 247, literally your job to, analyze UCF football. It's for me, it's kind of difficult to pick out what's like the game. Like usually every year as a UCF fan, you could be like, okay, that's the game. But this year, I feel like going into next year, maybe it's too early because it's too early. But is it Colorado? Is it Florida?
For
Is
me,
it
it's
Utah?
Florida. My dad's like a huge Florida fan. Like he went there for a semester before dropping out when my sister was born, but it's Florida.
I guess I'm asking more of the football perspective, but I guess that is the answer because that is also a good choice. It's a good choice. It's Florida. I mean, they're.
I mean, I
part
have
of
way too many
Big Three.
connections there, so it's like Florida's the most important game for me.
I feel like that too. I feel like Florida is the game. Next only, I believe, would be Arizona or Utah.
Colorado's low on everybody's list. I feel like the Dion Height, them coming to us, the fact that they ticked the needle so heavily last year in terms of media attention. UCF, in my opinion, we're kind of not used to that. I think they had games where they were getting like 12 million viewers in a regular season game. That's insane.
Getting the Black Friday game back is fun.
That too.
Yeah, that'll be a fun game.
That 3-game stretch really of UF, Colorado, and Cincy is that's super fun. That 3-game stretch is definitely what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I agree. Those are three.
You have a bye week to prepare for it too. You guys got to get your content ready.
the double bye week threw us for a loop for sure. We're sitting there looking at the schedule like, whoa, there's a second one?
I still don't even really know where that came from. Like, I think there was like something in the schedule, but to me, it's like, did a random Saturday just like appear where everybody gets a bye week? I don't totally understand that, but I am down. I'm down for an extra bye week in there.
Well, it's because the 29th or whatever is the Thursday there, so it's usually like either like the 31st will be a Thursday or like the first will be that Thursday. So you're August 29th on that Thursday. So you're still in August on Saturday of week 1.
Is that week 0? Are they considering that first game week 0, Stephen?
No. That's week 1.
Okay.
Like you're still in August. So it's just like the calendar is weird this year.
Yeah, I agree with Hidden Shark. An extra bye week is great for, I think, the collective mental health of the fan base to take a week to breathe. When you're in the grind of the season, I think it's a great break for everybody, in my opinion. You could watch all the games and not stress. Imagine.
I would need a massive mental health bye week after the Colorado, Florida, Cincinnati stretch. I think the entire fan base would.
Same with just content in general. Like the 2 videos that went out today, like that stuff just can't exist during the grind of the season because everything is so like one after the other. Like you finish a game, you're putting out content from that game, and then 2 days later, and even during that stretch where you're putting out content, like you're preparing for the next game and like the content plan for all of that, all the post game scenarios there. So like it's hard to like obviously we do ideate new concepts and stuff, but it's hard to like pour your heart to new ideas and like really do trial and error with like different concepts during that part of the season compared to the off season. Like we're obviously less busy. There's still stuff going on, but you can mull over ideas for weeks and kind of like work on stuff like a little bit every day, and like that's where we're able to create stuff like this. So like an extra bye week where you can really brainstorm new different ideas and work on stuff for the rest of the season, like that just helps everyone.
Speaking of, yeah, and we're not even at the spring game. We just got the spring game release day. It's a Friday in April 12th, I want to say. Now, reflecting on this past season, Spencer, is your first full season with the football team. Julian, I think it was your first season on a paid full-time staff with UCF athletics. Both of y'all, I know it's like it's probably going to be like picking your favorite child as a parent, but were there any players on the team that you can pick out and be like, yeah, I really enjoyed making content with them because they were a pleasure to work with, they were funny, they had good personality? Who comes to mind when you bring that question up?
I'll say one, and then I'm gonna just guess the one that Spencer's gonna say. I'll leave that one to him. But I love working with Lee. I know there was that dogs clip, which is like still one of my all time favorite clips from the season from a press conference. And he's just like fun to work with. He's normally open to basically any idea. He's down to do stuff. He shows up and he's just open to ideas. Like I know I did a uniform reveal with him that he probably wasn't thrilled on the result of it. And like he texted me, he's like, "Who made this?" I'm like, "You know, I made it. I filmed you." And then it's just like laughing after that, and he's cool with it. And he's the best. He's a fun personality that everybody loves. Uh, he's a soundbite god. Like it's just anything he says is just gold for the microphone, and just overall a good guy to work with.
The guy, I've got 2 I would go with here. A guy that always just brought me a smile was Tremont Morris Brash drop. I specifically remember, and I don't remember what game it was, but I specifically remember the experience. We were going back in the locker room for the last time before kickoff, and him and I had never really said anything to each other. We, high five, knuckles, whatever, handshake, whatever it may be. And he walks up and he said, "Have a good day," and he gave me a huge hug and like picked me up off the ground. I'm not a small dude, so I appreciate that, and his attitude is so positive, and piggybacking off of that, there's one clip that Julian knows I love. I think it was since he said it for the first time, but he looks in the camera, he screams, "Go Knights!" And then he whispers and kind of grins and says, "Charge on!" And so we had him do it over and over again until we couldn't anymore. And there was one time we actually forgot, and Julian tried to FaceTime him to see if we could get him to do it over FaceTime. But it was extremely late, and he must have gone to bed. But another player who I think everyone can attest to seeing on social media, John Rice, just was ultimately a team player and always willing to help us out when we needed it. Always a good spirit, and then I also was able to poke at him a little bit, and he was able to poke at me a little bit about that Mississippi connection. Um, Especially on Egg Bowl week, we were able to kind of to poke each other on that. But yeah, just very appreciative of his willingness to help us out, and just a lot of fun to watch as well.
Yeah, I was thinking you were gonna say JRP there for sure. I have no idea how I forgot about Drop in the moment. He is he is all time to work with. Just like the best dude. He's always showing love to us with the camera, giving us great stuff on the mic, just like that clip, which is like a staple for my dumb videos, the Go Nice Charge On at the end. He's the best. Also, Jamal Johnson like basically saved my week every single week when it came to uniform shoots. Like at one week, I remember we couldn't get anybody, and it was the Spirit Splash one, which was the drone photo in the fountain, and we had Connor, the photographer, suit up. Like it was about time. Like the sun was gonna go down. It was like today was the only day we could do it. I'm asking everyone that's going through the hallway, like, can you do this? Can you do this? No, I've got class. Jamal comes through, and he was just my guy for the rest of the year. Like sometimes it can be a bit of a logistical nightmare to like get a player that works out with our schedule to do a uniform shoot. And that was like whatever week of the season, and he was just the model from there going forward, and he always came through. So shout out that guy. He was Jamal's the best.
Julian, I just want to point out I'm always available. If you need a model, just like like a cleat model, I'm always available.
I was
I'll
gonna
put you on the
say,
short list for sure. You're right behind Connor, but you're there.
So if you need a model for a uniform as well, hey, I'm available.
all right, guys. Jokes are over. Sorry, I love you both, Steven and Sam.
Dang.
Now, not to RBJ played college football. He could actually, I could see him truly doing a good jersey review. He's also pretty hyped, like just intrinsically hyped. Like you don't really need to do much to get him to get hyped about something.
Yeah, but
and this
like
would definitely.
5'7".
Okay, bruh, come on, leave my guy alone.
Respectfully, I don't think they have jerseys that small. Respectfully.
That was pretty disrespectful.
RBJ is catching strays and he's not even here.
He knows this is normal, that we're going to talk about him. So schedule comes out, spring game in April. Basketball's been fun though. Now I mentioned the Jimmy Skiles video, and I tried to message him. Obviously, very busy guy. Now we're definitely good friends. After the Kansas game, we embraced pretty long, and every time I talk to him, it's always fun. He's a great guy. But obviously, yeah, he was the one that recorded the video that everyone's doing the horns down. Where Rodney Terry got mad, he assumed they were doing it to show up people, but it was literally for social media content. Spencer, where is that video? Alex, like guys, you guys got to help me out. I'm trying to see that video. I asked Jimmy for it. I just want to see it. Like I don't, you can send it to me. Like it's pretty iconic for what it led to.
You're just talking about the horns down video in general, the interaction?
Yeah, so there was a one where it's like the big group. Obviously, we know Shamari did it going into the tunnel, and that went viral itself. But Jimmy was walking up, smiling like a kid. It was hilarious. Recording a video of like 5 or 6 players doing the horns down, which is what then led to Ronnie Terry being like, "Hey." and getting really mad. It was like right before the line started. But I don't think I've seen that video of the 6 or 7 players doing horns down to Jimmy Skiles' phone.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I haven't either. So
Damn it.
yeah, I also would love to see it, but I unfortunately haven't even seen it myself.
All right. Well, next time I see Jimmy, I'm gonna be like, hey, here's my number. Please send me that video. I'm not gonna post it. I just want to see it because obviously that led to me, it was one of the most viral moments for UCF, like almost of all time. What was that like being on the content team, seeing all the every single national sports media account picked it up? So what was it like for you guys behind the scenes, seeing that happen, seeing that video take off and seeing UCF in it was definitely a weird space to be in for UCF, like seeing this coach get mad for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think really after the game, neither Julie and I were there, but after the game, it was pretty operation as normal. There's always a plan going into every game of if we win, this is what we're gonna do. But I'm pretty sure before anyone realized what had happened at the handshake line, we had gotten that video of Shamari coming through the locker room, and it's just raw emotion, right? It's just genuine emotion, and then no one expected that to blow up the way it did. You can't really plan for anything like that, but really just sitting back and letting it play out the way it needed to play out. I don't think any harm was meant by it, obviously. And, in the end, everyone knows that Johnny's a guy of class, and Bill Self had just said something about that. So, we know, and obviously we didn't have to prove it to anybody because it's pretty well known around the basketball community, but that's not how we intend to present ourselves. So, we just let it play out, I guess. I don't think we necessarily leaned on it in any way. We just kind of went operation as normal and happened to play into it a little bit, but not intentionally.
I saw that was it the UCF basketball account? They called Johnny Mr. Class like a week later, after Rodney Terry called our players classless. I felt like that was a little connection there. Was that a connection at all, or am I just connecting too many dots and just getting too into the weeds?
I know the week before the Kansas coach in the
Yep.
post-game presser shouted out Coach Dawkins like this guy is the classiest in the industry right now. Like he is the best.
It was
forget
just a
who
subtle
asked the
reminder
question.
that Bill Self himself believed Johnny Dawkins is pure class, which is true.
I forget who asked the question, but it was like, what's one word to describe Coach Dawkins? And he just said class and defined it.
Yeah, I mean that was and I don't know, the content team probably doesn't play a part in this, probably game day ops and maybe Terry's side of the house, but I don't know if y'all saw what happened with the BYU students wearing the horns down shirts, spelling it out in the front row, and they got asked to take their shirts, like take them off or wear something different. Would you foresee UCF doing something like that, or would you see UCF, the admin staff, embracing something like that and allowing it to happen?
I think that's well above anything Julie and I would make a decision on. But yeah, I really don't know. I mean, I thought it was pretty unique, especially a little, don't want to speak on behalf of BYU, but pretty funny on behalf of their students to do that ahead of a game. And luckily they came out with the win there. But yeah, I have no idea what the situation would be if that were at UCF.
I still don't even know what really happened there. I saw 2 tweets. One of them saying that BYU staff told him to take them off, and then one of them that was like a Texas coach was like, "You've got to take it off, or it'll be a technical or something." I don't even know the
Oh,
full
that was
story
a
there.
troll tweet.
I think it was troll too, but
Um, I can't believe you would say the HD words on Space Nights, Austin.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go in post production, bleep that out. Content team, I may need your help with that one because y'all are the experts with that. But we got so 2 people who were played a part in that video have spoken tonight. But Alex Clough, do you have Cyclone Larry's phone number, and how'd you get it if you do?
I unfortunately do not. But I feel like that's something that eventually is going to happen.
Seems
And I
like
feel
all
like
of the
eventually,
social
within the
media
next few
in here.
weeks, I'd like to speak to him. Okay, thumbs down. I don't know what you want me to say. If they wanted me to have his phone number, I think they could get it.
We thought you did.
I
Yeah.
think he just followed you on Twitter, so
No, he
think,
did.
I think you're gonna have his number here.
I've been like formulating a reply to his tweet, similar to you. So yeah, it's been crazy.
I know Eric's listening. So Eric brought up the Cyclone Larry thing. That is such an Eric move, and obviously it made waves. What was Eric's contributions other than that idea? Unless that was all he did for the video. Hey guys, you should call Cyclone Larry.
I don't really know. I mean, we were sitting together a lot of the time to write the script, but I mean, I said earlier the Cyclone Larry part was all him because we were just like we know nothing about Iowa State. And Eric is just an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to UCF and just college football, social media in general. So
And
he
the
had that
internet.
one. He had that one ready to go, and he was like, "Oh, this guy big on Twitter. Like this will work. This will hit all the fan bases." So that one went. I don't know where the coach part came into play. That might have been Eric as well at the end. But we definitely bounced around some ideas.
God, I'd love to. Again, the behind the scenes video needs to drop. Did we hit 1,000? By the way, I think we did. Come on, we're getting slow. We're falling off. Come on.
We are 65 likes away from that. It is a 935.
I might
Okay.
have to delete it at 999 because I don't know. I'm looking at this video in my camera roll, and I'm thinking about that.
You're gonna drop the behind the scenes of you doing this? Oh, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned TCU being a team in the Big 12 that you think broke the mold in terms of trying to bring. I think it's just trying to bring comedy to a sport that historically had been a very very serious kind of suit wearing sport. I love that about UCF. It's made me lean into UCF fandom more, and so I wanted y'all to know that the content, social media, and all that matters a lot. I think to not just me. I think to a lot of people. Is there another team or program or content team in the Big 12 besides TCU that you think, okay, they're also kind of on the cutting edge when it comes to trying to bring lightheartedness to college sports?
I don't know too much. I know Texas Tech put out a video after they beat us. That was unfortunately a little bit funny.
West Virginia.
West Virginia, maybe.
West
I'll agree.
Virginia cooked us with their video.
I
West
can't
Virginia.
remember
That may have
one
been a
right now.
personal attack at me. Uh, the video, the head of creative there, similar to Eric's position, was my old boss when I worked at Wake Forest previously, and him and I are very close friends. And so as soon as Sir DJ Diesel decided to say the words he said on that stage, he knew he was going to take it and run with it if they won.
I'm not gonna lie. When I heard DJ Diesel say those words when I was at the concert, I'm like, if we lose today, this is gonna come back, and lo and behold.
Yeah, Ross at West Virginia made it clear pregame as coaches were shaking hands that would be used if they were to win.
And rightfully so. You're handed an opportunity like that. You've got to take advantage of it.
And don't get me wrong, DJ Diesel was an awesome experience. Bottom line, hands down, him and Paulie D were just such a cool addition to a pregame. And obviously, no one wanted to listen to DJ Diesel that early, but unfortunately, scheduling had other plans. But that was just such an awesome experience. Unfortunately, the game leading or coming after was not as fun, but yeah, that was a cool experience.
And I also think I've seen a clip of him before he got on stage, and he goes up to someone on his staff and he's like, "Who do we play today?" And they're like, "West Virginia." And then he goes up and just drops the bar of all bars, and that behind the scenes clip is an all time clip from him.
And I talked to Jimmy about that. He raved about Shaq being just a great person to have work with just the staff. He was very nice to everybody. Um, can we talk about like what led up to that? Like, how did we land Shaq? Does the content team know like the behind the scenes on those conversations that led to being like, hey, let's get DJ Diesel in here? You think he'd say yes? He said yes. Like, what was all that like?
I think
That's go for it, Julian.
Clough just has him in his contacts, just like he does Cyclone Larry. He's close with a lot of people, so he gave him a call and he was like, "Yeah, I'll be there. Homecoming, I'm down."
Easy dial.
Duh.
Maybe SJ knows him.
No, I'll give credit where credit's due. Alex Esserano and his team with Brand Experience, they've been nailing it lately, and those were he worked with getting DJ Diesel, and then he worked with the Big 12 in terms of getting Pauly D for the Big 12 homecoming. So they've been doing an awesome job, and that really falls under them. They've got the answers to that question, but we were just happy to be there and capture it.
Yeah, that was crazy. Speaking of crazy, something that was new that happened this year, I kind of touched on it earlier with the drones. You said it was a guy named Mark Godin. Did I get that
Yes.
first name right? Mark Godin. Whose idea was it to bring in lights up, lights down, and how did that get into the fold? Was that you guys? Was that a separate team?
I don't know exactly.
Very popular.
I think that was Jimmy. I think.
I know
I'm
it
not
was brand.
mistaken.
I mean, it was obviously Brand Experience, but I want to say it was last year. I don't even know if it started with football or basketball, but from a content perspective, like that is probably my favorite thing we do, just because it creates the coolest photos to have all those lights in the background. So I'm always bugging them like, when's lights up, lights down, when's lights up, lights down, just so I know like where to be and when to be ready with my camera.
Yeah, when it comes to a lot of that game presentation stuff, so lights up, lights down, new concepts that happen in the arena, the CO2 that goes off during that moment, the fireworks that go off during that moment, that all comes down to Brand Experience. And other places I've been, it's been called Fan Experience, because what they're doing is enhancing and developing the fans' experience, which is what you guys are experiencing. And then we all kind of work collaboratively to, okay, well, how can video get involved to add an element to this? Or how can our board show operators and our broadcast crew get involved to make this even better? And so a lot of the brainchilds and mapping out of what we call the script of the game comes from them. And then Julian, myself, Major Howe, and our broadcast group, we all kind of come together to ideate and make that come to fruition.
And that's really cool how everyone works together. I mean, sounds like a fun staff to be on in UCF athletics under Terry. Now let's talk cinematic recaps for a second. We've seen some great ones. I think, to me, what will be go down as one of the best cinematic recaps, or just one of the best pieces of content I've seen come through UCF, is the Kansas game against. I'm gonna try to find it. What's going on with those? Whose idea, and how are those being kind of birthed?
Yeah, you're referring to the Kansas basketball game?
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
definitely not the football game, Spencer.
I was like,
Definitely
no, not that one. But so where I've been in the past, cinematic recaps have done well when the moments are big to carry them. And so for that game specifically, we had to go into it with the plan of, we're going to win this game. And sometimes it can be really annoying when you go and you prep for so long to only lose. And obviously that's outside of the hands of the content group. But when you go in prepared and it happens, it feels so much better, obviously. You know exactly what you're going to have. So we had, I think, 6 shooters that game for video alone. We had one of our students, Austin Tomlin, on a Ronin, which was a really cool addition that I don't think people had seen here before. That's that wide, very steady shot that's moving from the upper deck. Um, it really shows off the atmosphere, which we were able to do because obviously big sellout crowd. But we went into that with a plan, and Gabe Starner, who's our senior producer, he works very closely with men's basketball. That's one of his assigned sports. And he helped place everybody, let everyone know what their responsibilities were. all the way down from pregame, hey, you got to go out and get the tailgate outside or the block party, to postgame when we're like, okay, if we win, we're gonna rush the court. Like, that's a given. Everyone, this is where you need to be. This is what camera movements you're gonna make, and then this is where we'll meet at the end. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure the camera gear stays safe. And so, the two polar opposites in that run out or that court storm moment were, we had Julian went up in the rafters and got some really cool content with one of our interns, Aaron, to get that overhead shot. And then Austin was on the court. He ran out with the team. I knew I was going to stay on Johnny the entire time. Uh, Gabe was player ISOs. So everyone had a role. And throughout the entire game, everybody has a role. And so once everyone does their job correctly and follows suit, it gives Gabe the opportunity to go back the next day after we label all of our footage. What player made what shot, what time frame. He goes back and he's able to map together 6 different angles, which turned into what that masterpiece is pinned right there. Which honestly, I'd agree with you. I've been at a lot of places, and it's one of my favorite videos I've seen come out of a group I've worked with.
I love that you predicted, hey, we're storming the court. Like, hey, we're going to pay that $25,000 fine. We're all just in agreement that we're going to let it happen. It's going to happen, and we need to prepare for it. And I mean, yeah, look at you just open the video and just look at the comments. Incredible, incredible. I need We Belong shirts, which obviously that's not you guys. That's probably brand experience. We Belong shirts probably would have done really well the next day. I know merch has been kind of slow, supply chain stuff, but yeah, what a crazy event that was. Again, I think RBJ said it best, one of the best UCF sporting events he's ever been to. I think easily the best basketball game I've ever been to. The fact that my wife was leading the charge on getting on the court and I didn't have to be the one that's nagging, like, hey, can we go on the court? She grabbed me. I mean, that just showed you the magnitude of what we dealt with, which was, an iconic event.
I was so mad I didn't go. People were asking me, Sam, are you going to go? I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I was very pleasantly surprised what I saw on my TV, but I was so mad. I'm like, I should have gone. That would have been prime.
I think it was the best game I've attended here. I came in 2020. Like, we've had some pretty awesome games, but that one was just, the atmosphere alone was unreal. And even the next game, the BYU game atmosphere was one of the better atmospheres I've ever experienced. And that is certainly a testament to Brand X, the Palms, all that. It was unreal. And I mean, storming the court and is just a bucket list item for me anyway. So experiencing all that was truly unreal. That was so sick. You mentioned Austin too. The gimbal shot of pregame, like right before the tip off. That's top 5 favorite shots I've ever seen here at UCF. Like, we've never done anything like that before, of a guy being on the court like seconds before the game is about to start. And I'm pretty sure that's real early on in that video, and that's an unreal shot.
Julian, you were in the rafters. I joke with my wife. She hates heights. Like, that's like the thing she hates. And I'm like, hey, babe, what if we did a romantic dinner up there on this catwalk up top? I'm like, just set up a table. She's like looking at me with like the nasty face. Like, what are you, like, about to get slapped? Is it scary up there? Like, I've never been up there.
Personally, no. It's definitely, if you're afraid of heights, then definitely it would be terrifying. I love shooting up in the rafters just because, like, I love finding any like alternate angle, and that allows for that. Plus, I just kind of hang out up there alone. I don't like interact with anybody. I a lot of times have my laptop up there, so like if I get a cool moment, I can edit it right there while I'm up there, compared to if I'm shooting on the baseline or something like that. Like, that's just not possible. You can't churn out content like immediately. You have to wait until you have access to a computer. That game in particular, I was super sad being up there because, like I said, like, that storming the court is a bucket list item for me. So I was very much Squidward meme, looking at SpongeBob and Patrick running around having a good time while I'm just up there in the rafters. But I definitely knew that like those photos would would live on for a while here at UCF. So just like capturing that was really awesome to me. And that angle of everybody on the court is like you can't get that from anywhere else other than the rafters. So that was really cool. And I was just taking photos, but Aaron captured video that like really made that video as well. The recap you guys are talking about, just the angles from up there are special, and certainly a testament to the whole video team just preparing for every scenario. Like I went up with Aaron 10 minutes before the end of the game, like, hey, it's close. Um, this is our spot. Like, we've got to get the shot. Whatever happens, like, just don't mess it up, basically, because this doesn't happen all the time.
And Julian, you mentioned that you and the content team are prepared to, prepared for storming the court. A question that I've been wanting to ask for a bit was during the Oklahoma State game, were you guys as prepared for the possibility of so many fans storming the field, or were you guys just let's see what happens, and then once the score got to where it was, you guys were like, oh God, it's happening?
So I thought there was I mean, just on Twitter, like, I thought there was a decent chance that it would happen. Even like with all the jokes of like people breaking their legs if they jumped. Like I remember going into the stadium kind of the day before, like looking, I'm like, that's pretty high, but it would some people would get really injured, but I think our fans are probably dedicated enough. And then I remember
I was
talking with
ready. I
I
was
remember
ready.
talking with RG3 pregame, and he was like, if it's close at the end, I'm gonna go down and storm the field with the fans. And when he said that, I was like, man, that feels like it's gonna happen. And I remember there was probably 10 minutes left in the game, and I heard that the gates would be opened. So it would happen, and I think that was probably the best way to do it. I know I ran over there with the camera and just like watched all the fans, just they were waiting there forever as well. So even if we didn't have a heads up, like we would have seen the thousands of fans just at the gate, and we would have been ready regardless. But I remember hearing pretty early on that it was a very realistic possibility. So we were kind of all ready with that. Spencer mentioned Austin earlier on the gimbal. He's an intern of ours, and he got that iconic shot of JRP and Javon and Lokahi running with all of the fans, just with the gimbal. Like it's truly like POV. You are a fan rushing the field. Just another one of my favorite shots of all time here, and just a testament of like his intuition of football and like knowing what's about to happen, and us planning ahead, and him just being in the right spot to capture a moment that UCF fans, especially if you were at that game, will definitely remember forever.
Yeah, I'll say similar to Kansas, we definitely prepped for that game, and I believe ahead of time that was a fans take the field game anyway, which you can assume is a pretty good coincidence. But I just remember being on the sideline, and like I started hearing like roaring, and I'm like looking around like, where is that? And I look across the field to the northeast side, which is the video board side, um, I guess closer to the road. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, there was like 40 to 50 kids deep over there just chanting, let us in, let us in. There's still like 6 minutes left in the game. Um, and so we all ran over, and I got with Austin, and I said, all right, why don't you take that corner? I'm going to run over there, see what it's about. And like Julian said, he just kind of, he had a good feel for the moment, and he saw JRP run over there with a couple of other guys. And Julian and I had talked to JRP a little bit, and I just brought up to him like the excitement on his face in that moment was pretty like insane and memorable, even on my end through the video. Like seeing him smile like that, just because what a cool moment. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was a fans take the field game. So we were a little prepared. I just wasn't prepared for how many people there were.
I
Yeah,
think they made it a fans take the field game like
I
10
think
minutes left.
I think you might be right about that. But yeah, JRP, I know he said in interviews countless times how like that was a bucket list thing for him to experience something like that. And I mentioned like having that memory for UCF fans forever. I'm almost more happy that Austin got that shot just for JRP to have forever, because it's just him running. Like, he looks like a little kid, just biggest smile on his face. Just had the game of his life, and is running with all the fans onto the field. It was so awesome. Something that I'm sure he'll play back years from now as like just an unreal college experience for him and all of us that were there.
Yeah, for me, I mean, wearing my spacesuit for the first time ever, like wearing like cosplaying at a UCF game, for me that was pretty spectacular to be part of that, be on the field, and I never thought I'd be able to do that too. Definitely a bucket list item for me too. I think it was a lot of us were hoping one day to storm the bounce house. Um, but
You know,
want to ask about? Oh,
I
sorry.
actually had a question. Like the Quay Bird song stuff, how'd you get that great content? Like the video of like him after the game, like how'd you even get that content, Julian?
Uh, Jordan Chapman used to work here, and he does freelance now, and he was working that game at Under Armour, luckily. And so I just hit him up. I was like, "You got anything of Quay?" And I think he was like leading a team of creatives for Under Armour. So he wasn't even really filming. He just had access to like unlimited content. And I was kind of, I was hoping for maybe a video of him making a tackle or something. Um, I texted him. He replied like 30 minutes later with a folder, and like there were photos there, and I was like, "Wow, this exceeds all my expectations. This is way better of a post than I could hope for." And I know I hit you up. You had a video on Twitter that I wanted to include that was really good. And that was really just like a whole lot of luck, a little bit of knowing people, and just like people doing my job for me, basically. Like I wasn't able to get out there, and the fact that I was able to get content from two people I knew, that was like a really quality post, like something that I'm happy to put out there. When like there's times where like the NFL, we'll get a video of a moment that I've got to put out, and I'm like, man, I wish I was there shooting this. Like, I don't love this video. It's not something I'm super proud to put on the feed, but it's a good moment that has to go out there. The Quay stuff, like those were bangers. Whoever took those photos, I don't know if it was Jordan or someone part of his team. Shout out for that. That was very cool.
Yeah, well, because I didn't see anyone like from UCF that I knew out there, so I was like, "There's no way." Like, I knew you hit me up for the video post game, but I was like, "There's no way he has like these elite photos if like he had no one there." So I was just wondering, kind of since then. Also, a bit of a bucket list moment for me getting a video I took on the UCF feed.
Yeah, and that interview was awesome. That's the kind of stuff I love. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it was his raw reaction to finding out he was leading the game in tackles. And
Yeah, he had the 5 within
yep,
the game.
and that stuff is so cool. Like, Spencer and I talk about that all the time. Like, anything where we can show a play or something and we get their raw reaction to the moment, like that is something that I want to consume as just like somebody online, and definitely something that fans want to see. That kind of raw reaction stuff. I know I put out one video of just like RJ that Spencer worked on of him reacting to the space game play. It's definitely something that we want to do more of just like raw reactions of players. So shout out you for that. That was a very cool video.
We're getting closer and closer to 1 million views on the Office video. The scheduled release, we're at around 738,000, unless my Twitter's being weird, and we're higher than that. But speaking of good content, I feel like a lot of it goes to the men's basketball's been getting some great content, including that intro video. I freaking love that intro video. I feel leaning into the SGA court right next to the arena was so genius with the palm trees right behind there showing, hey, this is a Florida can't, we're in the subtropics. We got basketball. Whose idea was that? And how was that filming with Johnny and the crew? Um, I love that intro video. Easily the best intro video in men's basketball history.
Well, we appreciate that. That was Gabe and I brainstorming, like, how can we make a unique video with kind of a simple set. And so there's two pieces to it. There's one that's down there on that court, like you mentioned, and the other one is actually on the roof of the arena. Um, the one down on the court we came up with really early, and luckily we were able to up with it early because we were able to get Brain Experience involved, the basketball staff involved, and say, hey, why don't we make this a small event and invite students to come out and participate in it? Kind of that street ball vibe. Like, okay. And so we marketed it for about 3 weeks and had about 40 to 50 students show up and went from there. And you asked how it is working with Dawkins and the crew. I mean, Dawkins is a pleasure to work with, and he is very open to this kind of stuff. He's appreciative of it. Um, and as you can see at the beginning of that intro video, he nailed his one line he had to hit. So that was a lot of fun. And like you said, play into the Florida thing. Like we're outside in October recording this, or I think it was October. Um, we're outside in October recording this. Like not many people can say they can do that with something green behind them and a blue sky while kids are in t-shirts. So definitely had a lot of fun with that. But Gabe nailed the shoot. We kind of ideated it together, and then he put the edit together, which I also really love.
You know, that sets the stage. I think not to apply any pressure, but second year of the Big 12, I feel like the content that we'll be pumping out is going to be special. It's already been special. We already are leading the way. Year 2 in the Big 12 with the content team. I tell Eric that, we've told Eric that, this is something that is perfect for our fan base. Can you all talk about what it's like to get these kind of reactions? I mean, we're approaching a million views on this video dropped earlier today. It's definitely going to surpass that by tomorrow. If not by tomorrow, then the next day. What's it like kind of being part of such a young fan base that gets this kind of content? And does that help with motivating yourself to kind of get it done and put something like that out there?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I think that having a younger fan base, we can do some things that other fan bases wouldn't necessarily understand or grab onto. And I think Julian and Brooke Morris, who's I think listening, she does a really good job working with Julian on finding those new, like, trendy concepts and also coming up with their own that really can apply to our younger fan base. And so I think it does motivate us a little bit. I know it definitely motivates Julian on those late nights when he's doing those social cuts that everyone loves. Um, the goofy video, especially the seatbelt. He knows what I'm talking about, but that definitely can be a motivating factor. It's a motivating factor for me when I'm doing long form content. When Gabe's doing a Kansas recap, knowing that people are going to grab onto that and that they'll grab onto different types of content, whether it be short, fun, or long and more serious in a storytelling realm. It definitely um, makes it easier. And I'll say this, like, I think the key to the success in what we're doing is working as a group. And I think everyone from our graphic design group to our social group to our video group to our photography group, I think the fact that we all come together is what makes it work. And Julian brought up, I had done a schedule release at Mississippi State. It was an AI themed schedule release where we essentially turned all of our opponents into AI created mascots from Photoshop, and we did a video with it. And everybody played a role in that, from photo to graphic to myself in video to a couple other videographers. Everyone had a piece of that, and that's exactly the same thing that we did with the content that went out today. The graphics nailed it, the video nailed it, the photos nailed it that went into the graphics. Everyone played an awesome part, and so I think as much as the fans motivate us, I think we definitely motivate each other.
That's special. I think,
Julian, it's time to send a video.
send a video.
Yes.
It's time,
Send a
Julian.
video.
It's time.
Do it.
I think it's going to be more than just posting a 13-minute video on Twitter. I don't even have the verification capabilities to do that. I'll get in the lab and I'll cut together a true BTS video that will both be something I'm proud of putting online and also something that I don't want to exist in the public domain at all. It won't be something you guys get tonight, but it'll be something that goes out eventually. I'll say in the near future.
Well, you heard it here first. It's official. Julian will be dropping the behind the scenes to the Simpsons schedule release video. Number 2 of 2 schedule release videos that UCF released. As a lot of people put, our number 2 option was better than a lot of other schools' number 1 option. We love having you guys on here, Spencer, Julian, Alex. Appreciate you 3 for giving us a lot of context on things that we don't really know as fans. It's really cool to hear about that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing this Julian video too, because he won't even show us internally.
Yeah, nobody's seen it. I think Eric and Brooke were around my computer. I think I played they maybe heard 2 words of me of me in my closet singing. So yeah, nobody has seen this besides my roommate, and that's about it.
Julian, I'm
But
just that you can send like 13-minute long videos through
no,
iMessage. Like I could just watch it, and you don't even have to show anyone else. I could just watch it and be like, yeah, it's a good video. Like he sings good.
near future, you guys will catch a a well produced behind the scenes. I'll say that.
He's gonna drop it when we get the gold uniforms. That's what's gonna happen.
He's gonna drop it during the next Frankie Valli song,
Which could be tomorrow. Men's basketball takes on Baylor. Shout out to women's for beating Houston, getting their first Big 12 win, celebrating, throwing water everywhere. That was so huge. It feels like as a program,
by 40.
right. Well, I was trying to stay positive, focusing on the cool thing that, the positive thing that happened. Men's basketball takes on Baylor tomorrow. There will be a block party starting at 5:00. So, they're shutting down whatever that street is where Burger U is, and
East
Jimmy
Plaza.
John's, East Plaza Drive. So go out there, go
Bring your
support Burger U.
palms.
Yeah, bring your palm fronds, get loud. This is again, we're in a basketball conference. This is an elite basketball program in Baylor, with a very rich history. We're trying to disrupt that, and that takes all of us. So, looking forward to tomorrow, seeing you folks there. Stephen, I'm sure you'll be there. Sam, you should go. I'm your friend. I'm asking you to go. I'm one of those people nagging you to go to the game.
You know what? I'll do my very best to make it. I work tomorrow, but I'll do my very best.
Well, appreciate everyone for tuning in. SJ, you've been listening all night. Gianna, Mary, Minx, you all always supporting. And then there's an account, Space Night. Appreciate that account as well. This was fun. Let's do this again, content team. Maybe spring game time or something like that. But yeah, until next week, go Knights.
Charge on, baby.
Appreciate you guys. See ya.
See ya.